In this video, we're not going to learn how to create classes and objects in a specific programming language. We're just going to understand the concept of it, which is more important. Because if you understand the concept of it and figure out how they work and why to use them, you will be able to easily learn and use it in any programming language you want. Alright, first of all, what is an object in programming? And before starting to explain it, the name itself tells us a lot. Objects in programming is like objects in real life. A thing that has properties and usually has some functionalities. Think of a car. It has properties like color, a license plate, and has some functions like starting the car and driving. Or imagine a TV. It has properties like TV size and resolution, and has functionalities like turning on or off, change channels, and change the level of the volume. Objects are just like this. They have variables that are its properties and some functions which we call it methods. But let me make it clear that in programming we call it object just because they have some properties and can do something. It's actually not something to define real world objects in programming. It can be anything. You can create a user object or even an object to take care of the theme state of the app, which has colors and a function to change the colors to dark mode. Objects can correspond to real-world objects or an abstract entity. But what makes objects special? And the answer is that we can create hundreds of the same object. Think of a user object that has properties of first name, last name, username, and a method to edit the username of the user. Well, in our program, we want to have this object get generated for every user that is using our program. So we end up having a variable number of objects of the same type, that the only difference between each object is the value of the properties, just like having three same cards, but the only difference is the color and the license plate of them. But we got a problem here. First of all, how to even create objects, and then we need something that generates us the same type of object as much as we want. The thing that we were talking about a moment before. The answer is classes. Classes have one task, and that task is to generate objects. Classes are like factories. You create a factory that gets the needed material and creates the product that you made that factory for. Let's get back to our car example. Let's imagine we are going to start creating and selling our own cars. We don't create cars by hand, because first of all, who the f would do that? And the second reason is that we want to create a lot of cars, not just one. So we create a unique factory, and its task is to create the car we want in a large number with some differences like the color and the material. Or in our user example, which is closer to the programming world, we want something that generates user objects, and this thing needs us to give it three variables: first name, last name, and username. Alright, let me even make it easier. It's just a template, an extensible program code template for creating objects, providing initial values for state, number variables, and implementation of behavior that are methods.
Hello?
Oh, Mr. JPG, hello there. Would you please help me explain this? I mean, just a simple example, okay?
Okay.
Alright, so let's review. An object consists of properties, the data that describes the object, and methods that are behavior aspects of the object. And a class is a blueprint for objects. A class is a user-defined type that describes what a certain type of object will look like. That's it. Don't forget to subscribe, bye.